Welcome to this presentation on mowing. By definition, a turf is a contiguous surface that is clipped. This clipping, or mowing, is the single most important cultural practice done on golf courses. The earliest turf mowers were quadrupeds. This is a picture from the Everglades in South Florida. These animals, and others like them, have been extremely effective at mowing this vegetation down. At the beginnings of golf in Scotland, the early links golf courses were mowed by rabbits primarily and sheep, and later by cattle. I found this quote from this English club's records. 5,000 cattle be employed day and night to eat up the herbage. I kind of wonder how much they paid these animals. Mowing became more human-oriented and laborious. Actually, these men maintained the greens at St. Andrews in Scotland, known as the home of golf, with scythes, even after mechanical mowers had been developed. The first patented mower, which was a reel mower, was developed by Edward Bundy. This mower was the beginning of the mower company Ransom's, which is now known as Jacobsen. Mowers have come a long way from the early days to the sophisticated mowers of today. Mowing height is the single most important cultural practice, as previously mentioned, because it determines the management intensity of the turf. The lower the mowing height, the more intensive the management. Greens are the highest intensively managed part of the golf course. Mowing heights range from 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch depending on the grass species and cultivar. Tees rank second to greens in cultural intensity, with mowing heights ranging from 1/4 to 5/8 inch, depending on the turf grass species again. Fairways follow, and again, depending on the turf grass species, are maintained between 3/8 and 1.25 inch height of cut. Roughs are the least intensively managed areas. Here we break roughs into the intermediate, which is a strip of rough next to the fairway that is 6 to 9 feet wide, which is approximately 1 to 2 mowers' widths. The intermediate rough is approximately half the height of the primary rough, which is, depending on the species, can vary from 1.5 inches to 4 inches. The frequency of mowing is influenced by the height of cut. The lower the height of cut, the more frequent the mowing required. Again, depending on the species, the frequency can vary, but mowing is most frequent on greens, followed by tees and fairways, then the intermediate rough, and lastly the primary rough. Here I've presented some of the golfer turf situations previously mentioned. As you move from the fairway to the intermediate and then to the primary cut, the frequency of mowing decreases. In this photograph, we are standing in a primary rough looking toward the green. The frequency of mowing increases as the height of cut gets shorter. Although greens are basically mowed on a daily basis, they may also be cut multiple times in one day for the purpose of increasing ball roll. Cutting the green twice is referred to as double cutting. There are two types of mowers, reel and rotary. Reel mowers, the ones shown previously, are used primarily on short-cut turf, but may also be used at higher heights of cut, commonly found in roughs, while rotaries, like maybe the ones you've used to mow a lawn or landscape, are restricted to roughs. A reel mower is basically a rotating drum or reel with helical blades. The arrow is pointing to one of the blades on the reel. In this diagram, I'll show you how a reel mower clips the leaf blades. The blades bring the leaf blades into contact with the bed knife, and at that point the leaf blade is clipped. The clip of reel is determined by the number of blades on the reel, the rotational velocity of the reel blades, and the operational speed of the mower. Ideally, the clip of reel equals the mowing height. Another term used is frequency of clip, which is the inverse of clip of reel, or the number of clips per given distance, but more on that in a following video. The blades on the reel can vary, but in this table give you an idea of the number of blades per reel needed to mow the various components of a golf course. The number of blades on a greens mower can range from 9 to 15, with 14 to 15 becoming more standard. On tees, 6 to 11 blade reel mowers can be used, while on fairways, 7 to 11 blades per reel can be used. In the case of roughs, they may vary 5 to 7 blades per reel. On greens, there are two types of reel mowers. The one shown here is a walk-behind greens mower consisting of a single cutting unit comprised of the reel and bed knife. The second type is a triplex greens mower consisting of 3 cutting units. On fairways, reel mowers are used and operated as triplex mower, as shown here. A common fairway unit has 5 cutting units, shown here. The 4th and 5th cutting units are under the operator. Or in this case, 7 units, or as it is sometimes referred to as a gang unit when pulled by a tractor. Or in this case, a 9 gang unit, which has been used in fairways and roughs. Reel mowers are not used as widely in roughs as they once were. Rotary mowers have become more popular as rough mowers and will be discussed later. From a maintenance perspective, reel mowers need to be adjusted on a regular basis. For example, the bed knife and reel should be kept sharp. In this picture, the bed knife is being sharpened. The height of cut is adjusted, often using a device like this one shown here, known as an AccuGauge. In this photograph, the operator is checking the height of cut with an AccuGauge. The video in this section will show you basically how the mowing height is set. Besides an AccuGauge, which is the most popular, I've come across other devices like this homemade one for checking the height of cut. Basically, it's a screw and a piece of wood. Setting the height of cut in a shop or maintenance facility on a solid surface is known as the bench setting. There are other devices that you can use to check the actual height of cut out on the turf. Switching now to rotary mowers. Rotary mowers are used at higher heights of cut. This is especially true on cool season turf grasses. The rotary mower consists of a single blade that rotates around a center shaft. On golf courses, rotary mowers are usually used to mow roughs. A few comments about mowing. Although we have mentioned the frequency of mowing for different parts of the golf course, the general rule for mowing is to remove less than 1/3 of the vertical leaf tissue. If more is removed, the potential for scalp increases. Scalping is basically defoliation of the plant. In the photograph on the right, the mower, in this case a walk-behind mower, made one pass and removed too much leaf tissue. The mower's height of cut was set too low. Another picture of scalping. The scalp turf is the brown tissue on this green. On frequently mowed turf like greens, the mowing pattern or direction should be varied to force the turf grass plant to grow more vertically. For example, maybe on Mondays you mow north and south, and on Tuesday east and west, and so on. This chart, posted in a maintenance facility, informs mowing operators of the directional mowing pattern for the day. Oftentimes, when you're looking at a golf course turf that has been recently mowed, shades of green appear that produce a pattern. In this case, a checkerboard pattern. What causes this? When we mow in one direction, we push the leaf blades in that direction. And the color has to do with the light reflection off of those leaf blades. For example, on the left is the 9th fairway at Augusta National Golf Club, and on the right is the 1st fairway. The arrows are pointing in the direction of the mowing pattern. On this day, the fairway mowers are mowing from the green back toward the tee. So the leaves are pointing toward the tee. From where we are standing, the light color reflection is due to the leaves laying or pointing away from us where we are standing, while on the 1st fairway, the mowers would be mowing toward us, and now the leaves are pointing or laying toward us, giving us a darker green color. So, to get the uniform color, whether it's just totally light color green or dark color green, they just line the fairway mowers across the fairway and mow in one direction. In this case, the fairway has 2 shades of green. The lighter color is where the mowers are mowing toward the tee and away from us, while the darker green is the mowers are mowing toward us, so the leaf blades are laying toward us. This striping pattern is done with a walk-behind greens mower. To get this effect, the distinct lines, they are mowed in the same direction each day, and this practice is often called burning in the stripes, which is shown here with this greens mower. For some of you that follow sports, you may notice how on some fields they may have burned a logo or design into the turf. They do it with rollers, which follow the same principle of getting the turf leaves to fall or orient in a certain direction. So in conclusion, mowing is an essential part of maintaining a golf course, and in many ways a complex activity, which is much more than just going out and mowing grass.